Breaking news! A major prediction just came out of ESPN's War Room, and it has Ravens fans and the rest of the NFL doing a double take. Let me put it this way. If what they're saying turns out to be true, this could be the season that changes everything in Baltimore. But it's not just what they said, it's who they said it about, and what it means for the future of this team. There's controversy, there's boldness, and there's a name involved that no one expected to be at the center of it all. But before we move on, make sure you hit that like button if you're a true Ravens fan. It's always amazing to see fans of all ages supporting this team. And if you feel like it, comment, "Go Ravens," to let the flock know you're flying high with us. Now let's get into it. The ESPN analytics team isn't pulling any punches this year. They've projected the Baltimore Ravens with the highest win total in the entire National Football League, 10.4 wins. That's right, no team in the league has a higher projection. Not the Chiefs, not the Niners, not even the Eagles. And this isn't some cakewalk schedule either. Baltimore faces the 9th toughest schedule in the NFL. That combo of high projected wins and brutal competition, it shows one thing. The national media is finally acknowledging just how dominant this Ravens roster looks on paper. Let's break that down. Week 1, at Buffalo. Week 3, hosting a high-powered Detroit Lions team. Week 4, a showdown with Patrick Mahomes and the Kansas City Chiefs on the road. And don't forget those cold late-season battles. Week 15 in Cincinnati, Week 17 in Green Bay. That's not even counting the always nasty matchups with Pittsburgh or the Texans, or even a sneaky Rams game. It's a gauntlet, but that's exactly what this team needs. Why? Because we've seen what happens when a team coasts through an easy schedule. Look back at the 2023 Dallas Cowboys. That team finished 12-5, yes, but against the softest competition imaginable, teams like the Panthers, Giants, Commanders. And then, they got slapped by the Packers in the first round of the playoffs. No battle scars, no real tests, and they folded when it mattered. That's not happening to Baltimore. From week 1 to week 17, they're going to be tested, bruised, pushed, and sharpened. And when the playoffs come, they'll be ready. Now let's talk about the driving force behind all this hype, Lamar Jackson. ESPN listed him as the Ravens' biggest strength, and who's going to argue with that? The man is a 2-time MVP and just had his most complete season yet, over 4,000 yards passing, over 900 yards rushing, and a career low in interceptions. He led the league in yards per attempt, 8.8, and yards per carry, 6.6. This isn't just an athlete. We're witnessing a quarterback who's evolving into one of the most efficient passers in the league. You know what changed everything? The arrival of Todd Monken and T. Martin. They've completely revitalized Lamar's game. His comfort in the pocket, his timing, his mechanics, it all clicked. And with the weapons he's got this year, it might be unfair. DeAndre Hopkins joins a room that already features Zay Flowers, Rashad Bateman, and Mark Andrews. That's not just depth, it's firepower. Defenses can't key in on one guy anymore. Someone's always open, and Lamar's vision is sharper than ever. Speaking of weapons, Zay Flowers is ESPN's top fantasy football recommendation. And honestly, it makes total sense. He averaged 12.2 fantasy points per game last season and logged 11 double-digit performances. But it's not just about numbers. This offseason, Flowers bulked up. He's stronger, more durable, and stepping into that critical year 3 where wide receivers often make the biggest leap in production. And if you're thinking Hopkins is going to steal his shine, think again. All he's doing is drawing attention away, making life easier for Flowers. This could be his breakout year. Now, here's where things get a little controversial. ESPN lists the biggest concern for the Ravens as kicker Tyler Loop. That's right, they're worried about the transition from future Hall of Famer Justin Tucker to a 6th-round rookie. And sure, on the surface that sounds terrifying. Tucker has been a legend. But here's the thing, he wasn't great last year. He was 30th in field goal percentage. He lost the Ravens multiple games. And Loop? He's looked sharp. 9 for 11 on field goals in preseason. 88% accuracy. A long of 61 yards. Is it a drop-off? Maybe. But is it as catastrophic as people think? I'm not convinced. But if we're being honest, kicker isn't even the biggest concern. No, that would be the interior defensive line. Behind the starters, Travis Jones, Brent Urban, and Michael Pierce, depth gets thin fast. If 1 or 2 injuries hit that group, this defense could suddenly struggle against the run. John Jenkins, Razad Nichols, they're solid, but not game changers. That's the unit that could make or break close games in December. And now, it's time for bold predictions. ESPN gave the nod to Keaton Mitchell, predicting he'll notch at least 4 games with 20-plus fantasy points. That's bold, maybe too bold. He's buried behind Derrick Henry, Zay Flowers, Mark Andrews, DeAndre Hopkins, Rashad Bateman, you get the idea. But he's electric, and in the right matchup, he could go off. But the boldest take of all might be this: Rashad Bateman is going to be this team's WR1. Not Zay Flowers, not DeAndre Hopkins. Bateman. And when you really think about it, it's not that crazy. His chemistry with Lamar is elite. He's finally healthy. And his deep ball ability could be the X factor in an offense that's finally opening up. And here's where things get really interesting. If we're seriously entertaining the idea of Rashad Bateman emerging as the WR1 in this offense, then we have to take a hard look at what that really means, both for the Ravens and for the way this offense operates under Todd Monken. Last year, Bateman flashed glimpses of the dynamic playmaker the front office envisioned when they drafted him in the first round. But it always seemed like something was holding him back: injuries, inconsistent usage, or simply being in an offense that hadn't yet found its identity. That's no longer the case. Now, he's got his health, his reps, and most importantly, a defined role in a passing game that is finally being tailored to Lamar Jackson's strengths as a passer. And if you've been paying attention to Monken's tendencies from last season, one thing is clear: he wants this offense to stretch the field and stress defenses horizontally and vertically. That's where Bateman shines. He's a clean route runner, he's got elite ball tracking, and he plays bigger than his frame. But let's not overlook the ripple effect of a true WR1 emerging in this system. Because if Bateman truly steps into that role, it opens up the entire offense. It frees Zay Flowers to feast in space and creates one-on-ones for DeAndre Hopkins, matchups he'll win more often than not. And Mark Andrews? Good luck double-teaming him when the outside receivers are commanding real attention. Suddenly, this offense isn't just Lamar's legs and a few play-action shots. It's balanced, it's unpredictable, and it's terrifying. And this leads us to what might be the most under-discussed storyline heading into 2025, the evolution of Lamar Jackson as a distributor. There was a time, especially early in his career, where the game plan was simple: let Lamar create magic with his feet and sprinkle in some big plays through the air. That's done. This version of Lamar is seeing the whole field. He's reading defenses faster. He's delivering the ball with more anticipation. And now that he's got legitimate weapons across the board, he doesn't have to play hero ball every down. He just has to trust the system and the players around him. Think about it. When's the last time the Ravens offense felt this deep? This dangerous from top to bottom? You've got Derrick Henry, still a freight train who's going to wear down defensive fronts. You've got two tight ends in Mark Andrews and Isaiah Likely who can destroy zone coverage. Three starting caliber wideouts in Hopkins, Flowers, and Bateman. And we haven't even mentioned Justice Hill or Keaton Mitchell in space. There's a real chance that for the first time in Lamar's career, the Ravens aren't relying on him to be Superman. He just has to be himself. But let's flip it, because if this offense doesn't live up to its sky-high potential, then the pressure is going to fall on the one area that remains a legitimate concern: the defensive interior. You look at a team like the Bengals, who the Ravens face late in the season when playoff implications will be on the line, and what do they want to do? Pound the rock. Same for the Browns. Same for the Titans. Same for the Packers. That makes run defense crucial, and the lack of proven depth behind Travis Jones and Michael Pierce is going to be tested early and often. A single injury could be catastrophic. That's why the front office's next move is so important. Whether it's picking up a veteran off waivers or making a mid-season trade to bolster that rotation, something has to happen. Because you can't have a championship caliber offense getting dragged down by a defense that's giving up 140 rushing yards a game. That won't cut it in January. So what does all this mean? Simple. This season is the turning point. Lamar is in his prime. The offense is loaded. The defense still has elite talent at every level, but the margin for error is razor thin. And that's what makes this year so compelling. The Ravens don't just have the talent to contend, they have the expectation. ESPN knows it, Vegas knows it, and deep down, every Ravens fan knows it too. The window is wide open. But for how long? That's the question I want to leave you with today. If the Ravens can stay healthy, avoid critical injuries up front, and get the kind of breakout year from Rashad Bateman that this team has been waiting for, what's their ceiling? Is it 12 wins again? 14? Could this finally be the year Baltimore breaks through and reaches the Super Bowl? Drop your thoughts in the comments, and as always, make sure you're subscribed for daily Ravens content all season long. Hit that like button if you believe in this team. And check out the next video right here on the screen. We're diving into the full schedule breakdown, game by game, and predicting where the Ravens will finish in 2025. Don't miss it.